What up, cloud gamers? Impressions are coming in from Gamescom, and we're starting to get some idea of just how good this new GFN upgrade is gonna be. One in particular that I want to highlight comes from TomGuide.com, in which it's titled, "I tested NVIDIA's GeForce NOW RTX 5080 upgrade. It made my $750 PS5 Pro feel old." Quite the eye-catching headline for sure, but I think there's a lot to break down here and address. Jason England, the article's writer, discusses quite a few things about his experience playing on the new upgrade. While I won't be breaking down everything he had to say in this video, there are a few highlights I want to touch on. If you do want the full details of the upgrade and how it works, then feel free to check out the article, will be linked in the description below, or check out the channel where we have multiple videos discussing it with more on the way. But let's begin by talking about something very interesting I noticed he wrote here, and that was about the upgrades coming and how they affect the CPU. While we've already discussed the server grade 5080 upgrades coming to the SuperPods, we've barely touched on the CPU side of things, and I'm happy to say that it is mentioned and brought up here. According to Jason, along with the 5080s and doubling the RAM, a new AMD CPU will be included in this upgrade, but NVIDIA isn't specifically saying which one, though Jason England does note that the specs sound suspiciously similar to the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. This is absolutely fantastic news. As many people know, while GFN is pretty powerful on the GPU side of things, the CPU can leave a little bit of room to be desired. I and many others in the community have been vocal about this every now and then when a CPU intensive game comes out, so it's great to see this sort of adjustment being made, and hopefully it makes a pretty big impact. Moving along from that, another interesting thing of note is that the experience at Gamescom was powered by a 125 megabit connection, and based on Jason's experience, that was more than enough for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to look spectacular at 5K 120 FPS, and Black Myth Wukong to really showcase the upgrade that cinematic quality streaming brings to the table. And since we're on the topic of CQS, it's worth pointing out that Jason's own words state that CQS delivers a remarkable difference. I'm not gonna lie, this is something I'm extremely excited for. I'm pretty nitpicky when it comes to visuals, so this sort of thing really does matter to me, and if it is as big a difference as they seem to be leading on, I'm really hyped up about it. But ultimately, what's good visuals without good gameplay? And that's where latency comes in. The new lower latency when playing on GFN seems to be a huge deal here too. As somebody who likes to play a lot of competitive multiplayer titles and consistently rotates through them every day, I gotta say this has always been a bit of a sore point when it comes to cloud gaming discussion. While it's always been more than good enough for single player titles, there's a constant back and forth shift between multiplayer gamers on whether or not it's even viable. In my opinion, under ideal circumstances, yeah, I think it's more than good enough to actually play competitive and multiplayer games, with some slight adjustments here and there. Admittedly though, that is with some adjustment period. Now, this new 1080p 360 FPS mode, that might change things. Latency testing hardware was on hand, and while NVIDIA is touting a 30 millisecond response time from click to photon latency, they were actually averaging around 17 milliseconds on Overwatch 2. Let me just say that is absolutely ridiculous, and I need to test this out, but I do also need to get a 360Hz monitor for sure. Regardless, really exciting advancements in the technology that a lot of people said was completely unplayable at one point. Another notable mention within the article is the Steam Deck upgrade that's coming, so you can actually get 90 FPS support, and when you plug it into a dock you can get full 4K 120 FPS. Now that's a truly capable handheld, and one that I'm happy to see getting this upgrade because I love my Steam Deck, and playing GFN on it is just so good. Now to wrap it all up, let's talk about the headline itself, comparing GFN to a PS5 Pro. Definitely the type of headline that's gonna get some clicks and definitely stir some opinions and emotions. But genuinely speaking, this upgrade is a significant step for cloud gaming as a whole, and it's also one of the reasons why I am so hopeful for GeForce NOW, and it is the cloud service that I prefer above all else. It just feels like NVIDIA is consistently on the bleeding edge of what this medium is gonna become. They're consistently pushing out upgrades, pushing out different features that make the experience even better, and it really does end up feeling like most other companies are trailing behind, just playing catch up to where NVIDIA's at. Now it's not a perfect service by any means, and there are still plenty of additions and changes that need to be made, and certain decisions that were made in the past that have proven not to be too popular. But ultimately, they're the ones who make me excited about what the future of cloud gaming looks like. But to suggest that it's a full-out console replacement for absolutely everyone right here, right now, well, that's a bit of a hyperbole. I mean, even Jason England himself in the article suggests that he's aware that he's being a little dramatic with that headline. And don't get me wrong, it can be a replacement right here, right now. In fact, there are plenty of people, maybe some even in the comment section, will share that they've just flat out dropped their consoles and PC. But is cloud gaming, even NVIDIA GeForce NOW, really ready for that mass influx of consumers who do console gaming traditionally? Probably not. Aside from things completely out of NVIDIA's hands like ISP providers, data cap limits, and infrastructure just not being good enough, it's also worth pointing out that there may be a limitation on just how many people can actually actively subscribe and play on GFN without running into other issues popping up like server queues. We've already seen examples earlier this year of when NVIDIA had to freeze subscriptions to certain tiers because there were just that many people subscribing at once. I fully expect that to happen again with this new upgrade. It's going to be popular by demand and many people are going to want to try it out, myself included, and I cannot wait to do so. And while I truly believe that, yeah, it probably does provide a better experience on most games than a PS5 Pro can, not absolutely everyone with a PS5 Pro is going to have an optimal experience playing on GeForce NOW. And once again, this comes down to a lot of things that are just out of your hands. Be it NVIDIA's server capacity, or your ISP connection's data cap, or other things like just bad connections around where you live. Not to mention the plenty of places where GFN isn't fully supported yet. GeForce NOW and other cloud services like it are going to remain an alternative, a compelling one at that though. But if you do happen to meet those conditions and you're willing to give it a shot, I would say do so, because I do think it could probably give the PS5 Pro and pretty much any other console out there along with most PCs a run for their money. But be aware of the drawbacks that exist in that space. Always make an informed decision. I think GeForce NOW is absolutely amazing. I think it can definitely provide a better gaming experience than most people have out there already. But these upgrades definitely sound like they're going to make that gap even wider. Just be aware of the drawbacks that currently exist. Be aware that cloud gaming is still growing. This doesn't have to be us versus them. These things can coexist. As I always say on the channel, it's about giving you the choice on how you want to play your games. I do a lot of my gaming today on the cloud, but I still have a gaming PC and I still have a console. I can do all of it and it's not a problem. Heck, if it doesn't work for you right now, then leave it to the side and check it out again in a few months or years. Cloud gaming has improved a vast amount and it's going to keep improving each and every year. So for those of you who are saying it's not ready for you right now, well, it might be in the future. And for those who are saying it's a console killer here and today, well, just be aware that's not the case for everyone. At the end of the day, it's about playing the games we all love, how we choose to play them, and the cloud is just providing a new and an awesome way to do so. It also allows for a lot of people out there without the hardware required to run the latest AAA titles at the best resolutions or frame rate to enjoy that experience and do it all the same with just a good internet connection. These are all positives and it'll only get better. And with that, we've wrapped up this video. Once again, if you want to read the full article, which I suggest you do so because it is great, then check it over in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, want more like it, subscribe. And as always, this has been Steven from Anytime Anywhere Gaming, wishing you a great day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.